Hey guys, it's Halo553. Welcome back to another Beyblade X unboxing and review. Today we're going to be checking out two of the booster packs from Wave 7 of Hasbro, that being Shelter Drake and Scale Shark. Now going over the packaging for Shelter Drake first, very similar packaging we've gotten in the past, just no letter rip tab. And then on the back of the box, it just goes over everything that we do get in this booster. So of course we have the Shelter Drake blade, ratchet is 570, and we have the orb bit. Then for Scale Shark, very similar, just the orange banding for UX and an image of shark. And on the back, same deal, going over the parts. So for Scale Shark, we have the Scale Shark blade, ratchet is 450, and we have the under flat bit. So let's get into these. So here is Shelter Drake and Scale Shark out of the packaging. So I'm now going to go into each of these bays one by one, talking about each of them in more detail. So let's get started. So first up, we'll go over Shelter Drake. Now this version of Shelter Drake was included in the original Shelter Drake random booster. So pretty cool to see a recolor Shelter Drake make its way to Hasbro. So let's now go over each of the parts that you get with this release. So first up, we have the Shelter Drake blade itself. Now, nothing too crazy that I haven't talked about in the previous unboxing of Shelter Drake. It's a balance type blade that is fairly thin, but has some really nice upper attack potential. Now, unfortunately, it is fairly lightweight, being around 32-33 grams, so it's not exactly going to be doing anything crazy in the meta. But if you keep it within bays that are of a similar weight, or even under, this blade should actually do really well. Plus, really do like the yellow color on this. Granted, I kind of wish it was maybe the green version. I think that would have been a lot cooler to have. But even still, it's really nice to be able to see a recolor of Shelter Drake make its way to Hasbro. Next up, we have the 570 ratchet. Now, it has been a little while since we've seen this ratchet. The last time we saw this was with the Chewbacca and Stormtrooper collab pack, and with the Hasbro exclusive recolor of Buster Dran that came with Disc Ball. So, pretty happy to have this ratchet in a booster now. 570 is actually a pretty decent part to get here. 560 definitely gets used a lot more, but 570 still sees a good amount of use competitively. So pretty happy to be able to get this in a booster now. If you've been really looking for this part, if you can't say find the original One Wizard or the yellow Buster Dran, this is definitely going to be a great way to be able to get this part now. Finally, for the bit, we have Orb. Nothing too crazy I can say that I haven't already said before. It's a decent bit, but I am getting a little sick and tired of seeing this bit in almost every wave now. And we are going to be expecting another release of this bit in a new collab pack in the next few months. But I do feel like this is a case of I kind of wish Hasbro did swap out the bit to a different stamina bit, like say Free Ball or even Glide. But it's still a nice part, but yeah, I'm just kind of sick of seeing this part. With this combination of parts, it makes Shelter Drake a stamina type. But now, let's focus on really the main attraction of the booster packs from Wave 7 of Hasbro. And that main attraction being Scale Shark. So this is the same Shark scale that was originally released in its own deck set late last year. But now we can get it in a booster, which is absolutely huge. But let's now go over everything that you get with Scale Shark. First off, we have the Scale Shark blade itself. Now, Scale Shark is an attack type blade with two massive contact points on either side. These contact points are used for massive attacks, which leads to really nice destabilization and recoil. Now, the main downside with Scale Shark though is that it does have a lot less stamina compared to other attack types, but its massive attack potential certainly makes up for it, as causing destabilization on a lot of stamina blades really is a big advantage. And to be able to get this blade in a booster now is honestly really good. I honestly thought Scale Shark was originally going to be a starter, but definitely pretty happy to see that is not the case. So it's definitely going to be pretty affordable to get. Well, when you're living in a country that doesn't scalp them. But anyways, really awesome blade here. Definitely can recommend using this one in a deck. Next up, we have the 450 ratchet. Now this was the original ratchet Shark Edge released with, so it's 4 treasure points at the 50 height. Right now, 450 is getting used quite a lot due to its very low profile. Now, the main downsides with 450 is, well, it's a 4-sided ratchet, so it is a little bit more prone to bursting. And plus, the 50 height, when you're using a very low profile bay like Shark, is you are going to be a little bit more susceptible to scraping with the stadium floor and even the extreme rail. But even still, 450 is still quite heavily used right now. But I do have a feeling 450 is probably going to get supplanted by 150 when that releases later this month with Blitz Bahamut. But even still, for now, 450 is still a really great ratchet to use, especially for low profile combos like Scale Shark. Finally, for the bit, we have Underflat. So this was the original bit Scale Shark released with. So Underflat is 1mm lower than the standard low flat bits, and it is part of the underfamily similar to Underneedle. Now, Underflat is a pretty decent attack type bit. It does move pretty quickly and it has a very low profile, but it definitely doesn't get used as much as I originally thought it was going to. I honestly thought this was going to replace low flat, and it hasn't really. Most people tend to run low rush a lot more now, especially with Scale Shark. But even still, Underflat is still a really decent attack type bit. Probably just not as useful compared to low rush and even probably say the standard rush right now. But I got a feeling there is some combos that will work really well with Underflat. This is the only release of Underflat so far outside of the Shark Scale deck set, but hopefully we start seeing this bit in more releases in the future. With this combination of parts, it makes Scale Shark an attack type, which is very appropriate. But now, let's weigh up both bays and see how much they all weigh together. Alright, now we're going to do some weights for these boosters. So we're going to start off with Shelter Drake. So let's turn this on. So the Orb bit, this one weighs, straight, 1.99 grams. The 570, that weighs 6.74 grams. And then finally the Shelter Drake blade, this one weighs 32.40 grams. That's in the same ballpark as other Shelter Drake blades released at the moment. Still pretty light. So let's put the bay together. So there's the full combo. So altogether, Shelter Drake weighs 41.1 grams. So that's alright. Now let's weigh up the Scale Shark. So Underflat weighs 2.09 grams. 450 weighs 5.97 grams. And then Shark Scale, this one weighs 37.36 grams. So yeah, that is pretty heavy. There have been some sharks, Scale Sharks, that have actually been weighing closer to like 36.8. So it is a little bit light. Some of them are a bit lighter, some of them are still relatively close to the original weight. But even still, regardless, its weight is really good. So let's put the bay together. 450 Underflat. Here's the full combo. So altogether, Scale Shark weighs 45.38 grams, so pretty good weight. So let's try these guys out in some test spins and some test battles. Alright, now we're going to do some test spins and some test battles with Sheltered Drake and Scale Shark. So we'll start off with Sheltered Drake. Now being on Orb, it's going to move around a little. I mean, this combo should be okay. I mean, whoa, that's a lot of wobble, wow. Do that again. But yeah, I mean, the combo should be alright. I mean, it's not really ideal for stamina use, but still, not too bad. And now, we'll try out Scale Shark. being on underflat, it's going to move around a good amount. But you probably will want to switch this out to low rush, or even just rush. So a lot of people tend to keep it with the full 50 ratchet and running on low rush and rush. It's still moving around a good amount. But let's try these guys out in some test battles. So that is it for my look at Shelter Drake and Scale Shark. I'm actually really happy with these boosted releases overall. There's a few qualms I do have with one of them, but overall these are both really excellent booster options for Wave 7. Really happy with these options. Starting with Shelter Drake, I mean, it's a pretty solid, alright booster release from Hasbro He. It's a nice way to be able to get the Shelter Drake Blade and 570 in a booster pack now if you haven't picked up the original starters that these came in. Granted, I do kind of wish Orb was substituted for a different stamina bit like Free Ball or Glide. I think those would have been some nice options to have instead of another Orb bit. But this is a decent release. Don't expect this to be super competitive, but it's a very niche little booster, and I could definitely recommend picking it up if you didn't get either the original Shelter Drake starter or any Shelter Drake release overall. Now for Scale Shark, yeah, it's no question. This is definitely the best booster release of Wave 7. To be able to get Scale Shark in a booster is absolutely incredible, and to be able to get at least 450 and underflat in a booster release as well. Now the main downside though is, unfortunately this bay is getting scalped, at least in the US. In Canada I think, it is getting scalped, which does suck. It is going to make it very difficult to find this bay, at least until it's more available in retailers. But at least where I am, I can get this pretty easily, and thankfully Amazon has put a purchase limit on this, so that's pretty good. But even still, this is a fantastic booster release just to be able to get the Scale Shark Blade outside of the Shark Scale deck set. And to be able to get 450 as well and underflat. These are still parts that have not been widely released yet, so pretty happy about that. So my final thoughts on these booster packs are pretty good. Shelter Drake, I would say, is definitely probably one of the weaker aspects. I kind of wish it maybe came with a different bit, but it's still a fun release to get if you've not picked up the original Shelter Drake starter pack. Scale Shark is obviously the MVP of the boosters here, really great value. So yeah, I can definitely recommend picking these up. Scale Shark definitely a lot more, but even still, these are still pretty nice booster releases for Wave 7. And we still got one more booster to talk about, which is Triceratops. But that's going to be for another video. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Beyblade X videos in the future, and until then, I'll see you all in the next video.